get it, Dad.
That's all right, I'll get it.
Got it, Dad?
No. Go into the house. We have to call the police.
The stories that shock a nation, move them, make them laugh, begin here. Like this one. I'm Paul Stewart. This is how Wichita learned of it, through the front page of the Wichita Beacon. Just 48 hours after this story appeared, ace reporter Bill Gagnon had pieced together a strange and shocking tale of murder that no one would believe. In this story, I portray the role of reporter Bill Gagnon. They're ready. They're rolling. The presses are rolling on Deadline.
Now try to pull yourself together, dear. This gentleman is the district attorney.
How could it happen? Why our house? Why us?
She's pretty upset.
Well, I won't bother you anymore.
Who was she?
How'd you know it was a woman?
Well, I could see that much when they slit the sack.
You have very quick eyes, sir. I had to look twice. Oh, Gagnon. Get your pictures?
Nothing you could publish. Body's been under there for weeks.
Weather's been cold.
I've been meaning to fix those steps since February.
Your son's still upstairs?
Yes, I'll call him.
Don't bother, I'll go up. There's an officer with him.
Let's light the candle, dear.
Make a wish, dear. Blow out the candle and make a wish.
It's my birthday.
Before, then?
I'd say so. There appear to be 4 wounds in her chest.
No holes in the duffel bag?
None so far. I figure she was shot first. Her body shoved into the duffel bag, then carted here and hidden under the porch.
What about the name of the soldier on the bag?
We're checking it naturally, but chances are it doesn't mean a thing. The whole setup is so deliberate. Whoever did it wouldn't leave his name.
I was just telling the
All
officer...
right, officer. This is Bill Gagnon, the Beacon.
I've seen your byline offer, Mr. Gagnon. I'm very interested in newspaper work.
Thank you.
I won't keep you but a moment. You live here with your parents?
That's right, my dad and stepmother.
During the past, say, 4 months?
Over a year, since I got out of the Army.
Were you here when your father found the body?
Yes, but he made me and Mom go into the house. Some birthday celebration. I was just telling the officer how funny it was that no one heard anything. And right outside, too. And I'm a very light sleeper. 3 of us in the house, and no one heard anything. I call that weird.
Yeah.
Well, you could have all been out at the time, you know, all 3 of you.
You're right. I didn't think. You're right. So long, Mr. Gagnon.
So?
They'll be starting the autopsy. Want a lift?
No, I have my buggy outside. I'll see you at the office. See you later.
Your lab can go over these. The autopsy's finished.
Bought here in town.
Mm-hmm.
Well?
White, female, about 22 years old, 5 feet 1 inch, around 112 pounds. No scars, no marks. Dead about 11 weeks.
Did you get the bullets for me?
What bullets?
But she was shot, wasn't she?
Yeah, with a long, thin knife. She was stabbed 4 times, twice severing the aorta. Degeneration of tissue made the wounds appear to be...
Thank you.
She was wearing this wedding ring. There's no inscription.
But there's a jeweler's mark.
Yes, I took the liberty of checking with missing persons.
Good idea.
There was no inquiry about a woman missing of her description.
You'd think a wife missing for, how long?
Over a month.
It'd be your husband inquiring about her, wouldn't you?
You'd think so.
Also, she was dressed by someone else.
Come again?
Well, let me put it this way. When we found the body, she was wearing clothes. Those clothes were put on her by someone else. In my judgment, it was a man. The coat was buttoned the wrong way.
Is that in your report?
Yes, sirree.
Taylor, I'll be in court the rest of the afternoon. Read the ME's report carefully and you'll know what to do.
Did I hear you say that your office is on the track of the husband in the case?
Look, Gagnon, I'm late.
I need a quote, Tom.
You could say that.
Oh, someone to see you, Mr. Gagnon.
They told me at your paper I could find you here.
Hi, kid. That's a quote, huh?
I've got an idea about the murder. I mean, I noticed something. In front of our house is a street lamp, and it's real bright, too.
Yeah?
Well, that's all. I mean, if the street lamp's so bright, for somebody to put a body underneath the porch, I figured it was somebody from the neighborhood. Somebody who felt secure enough not to be noticed.
Yeah. Well, thank you. If you'll excuse me, I'm due in court.
That's not bad. Writes a cup of coffee. Have you time?
Sure. I know a swell place.
You're very good at it.
I like it.
More coffee?
No thanks.
This is Bill Gagnon, Mickey, from the Beacon. He's a reporter.
Hooray.
Don't mind her. She's all right.
Wayne, why did you come to me with your theory instead of going to the police?
Mr. Gagnon, I work in the shipping department at Carter's, but only until I can save a little money. You understand. And I decided when I was in the Army that I want to go into newspaper work as a reporter, like you. I think I told you that when we first met.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty good work. But I'll get a check. No, it's my treat.
You're okay, Mr. Gagnon.
Got a check, miss?
Yeah.
Nice kid.
Yeah.
What's your problem, sister?
Nice kids.
Meaning what?
Nothing. It's no skin off my elbow.
What isn't?
Friend, I know zero. And that's exactly what I want to know. Zero.
You're talking in circles.
Yeah? Well, if you want to get straightened out, go see his parents. Ask them. You won't get it from me, mister. Not from me.
Wayne was in an infantry company in Germany. He's been home about a year.
Seems to be a very serious young man. I suppose he had the usual boyhood scrapes and...
Just what do you mean by that?
Well, I guess I meant, has he ever been in trouble? In the army or...
Well, you've got a nerve. What gives you the idea you can come here and pry into our lives?
Excuse me, Mr. Linden. A body was found under your porch, brutally murdered and stuffed in a sack. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And anything about you or your house or your neighborhood is news. Call it invasion of privacy or anything you like, but it's still news.
I realize that, and I'm sorry. But there's nothing wrong with Wayne. There's no trouble of any kind. I'm sorry you missed him. He said he liked you.
Thanks. Mr. Linden, Mrs. Linden.
Dear,
I'm not going to discuss it, not with anyone. Is that clear?
This is Bill Gagnon of the Beacon. Is the district attorney in? I'll tell him I've got a couple of clippings in front of me that'll open up...
All right, Taylor, I'm on. Hello, Bill. I have something for you. It happened an hour ago. We found the girl's identity, and we've got the girl's husband. And Bill, he's a wild one. A real live wild one. Get on over here if you want to get in on the confession.
All right, Tom.
All right, send him in now and let me know when the woman shows. Her name was Mary Baines. The man coming through the door was her husband.
Why am I still here?
I'd like to go over your story again, Mr. Baines.
There's nothing to go over. I told you what happened.
And that's all there was to it?
Sure, that's all. Mary walked out on me 3 months ago, period.
And you didn't see her after that?
I never saw her again.
Tell me something, Mr. Baines. Why didn't you make an attempt to find her? You must have been worried.
You're off base. To be worried, you gotta care. Well, I didn't care. At least not then. Poor kid.
You sure you haven't left out anything?
Like, for instance,
Why she walked out?
what's that got to do with anything? Mrs. Gorman,
Well?
That's him.
what's me?
That's him, all right. That's the murderer.
What?
Thank you, Mrs. Gorman. Wait outside.
Oh, wait a minute.
Mrs. Gorman lived next door to the Baines.
That's the truth, all right, and I heard them. Why, he was always that of the poor lamb. Him with his dirty tongue.
So that's it. You're gonna listen to this evil-minded old witch?
Evil, is it? You're a fine one to talk about evil. I swear to it, sir. May God strike me now if I didn't hear him scream at her he was going to fix her for good.
Yes, well, thank you, Mrs. Gorman. Wait
And
outside. Please wait outside.
Oh, what's the big deal? So we had a fight.
What about?
Some guy she was hanging around with.
What was his name?
I don't know his name. I seen them together 3 or 4 times. She couldn't help it, I guess. That's the way she was made. Only I didn't go for it.
So you killed her.
What kind of a railroad job is this? You believe that? Do you? Well, I didn't kill Mary. I didn't kill her.
Tom, I've got the story in front of me right now on the typewriter, and I can't finish it.
Why not?
It's as weak as an old dish rag. Case against the husband is just full of contradictions, whole.
Thank you for your opinion. I don't think the grand jury will agree with you.
Now, wait a minute, Tom. Will you listen to something?
I'm listening.
I told you I had something you ought to know. Now, let me read it to you. It's a clipping from 2 years ago about Wayne Linden.
Bill, I think you're way out of line.
Now, listen. Second charge against youth dismissed. Wayne Linden, 15, of Wichita, was today dismissed in court by Judge Mark Young. This was the youth's second defense in a year. He was arrested late last...
Bill, you think we pulled this indictment out of thin air? We've been working on this case quite intensively, and I know what I'm doing. I think I cooperate with the press whenever and wherever I can. But the function of the press doesn't spill over to the office of district attorney.
Now, wait a minute, Tom. I didn't say that...
I'm very serious. We've got our man. The grand jury will indict him. I'll let you know if there are any further developments. Good night.
Good night.
I guess you found out about those things.
Yes?
Why were you looking them up? It was so long ago.
I was trying to find out about you.
Me?
Well, in a story like this, well, I guess you look for everything.
Did you talk to Mickey?
Mickey? Mickey who?
The waitress at the tavern.
Ah.
She doesn't like me. Maybe I don't tip her enough. But I work pretty hard for the few bucks I make. Mr. Gagnon, I hope you understand about those things. It was a long time ago. I was very young, pretty wild. But that's all behind me now, a long ways. Maybe it's too much to expect, but please don't let those things keep me from working. I mean, if a job comes up that I can handle, I'd appreciate it if...
Well, I'll put in a word for you. My wife will be wondering where I've been.
I'm glad they found out who she was. Very clever. Do you think her husband killed her?
Oh, I don't think they think anything yet.
I've seen him around town now and then. Real tough character. He can't take 2 drinks without wanting to tear something apart.
You know him?
From the plant, sure. He works at Carter's, department next to me. You knew that, didn't you?
Yeah. Join me?
I never learned how.
How about talk? You learned to talk yet?
What do you want from me, Mr. Gagnon?
Facts, comments, opinion on Wayne Linden? You know something, and not about that trouble 6 years ago.
Please, Mr. Gagnon, I don't want to get involved. My boss is very finicky. He wouldn't want me talking to reporters.
You'll be a lot more finicky if there's a slew of cops all over the joint. And you knew Mary Bain?
Yeah,
And her husband?
they came in once in a while.
How about Wayne? You ever see him with Mary?
I don't know. Maybe. I think the 3 of them came in together once. He didn't tell you that, did he?
No, he didn't.
I want you to understand something, Mr. Gagnon. You asked me about Wayne. I'm not saying he's mixed up in this killing. All I know is about him as a person. You know what I mean? For him, they invented the word slime. He looks like Mr. Innocence, don't he? Well, it's all an act. Inside, he's dirty. Filthy, devil dirty.
Well, he said you didn't like him.
Did he? Did he also tell you why? Ask him, Mr. Gagnon. I've said all I'm going to.
Mickey, a girl has been murdered. I don't know whether Wayne had anything to do with it. But the more I know about him, the more I'd like to know.
He's got one thing on the brain, Mr. Gagnon. Like a lot of guys I meet in here. Only with him, it's different.
How different?
I don't know. It's just something a girl feels.
Did you ever date him?
Once. Just once. He wouldn't take no. He's been bothering me ever since. He asked me up to his place. Right from the first and ever since.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad. His parents only 20 feet away.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Gagnon. He's got a place across the street and no parents in the way.
Are you sure?
He gave me a key once.
Well, where is it?
I don't know. He wouldn't take it back. I threw it away. It's the gray house with the steps.
Does anybody else know about this place?
I don't know. I don't think anybody except the girls he took up there.
Quite a surprise. Where's Bob?
Bob?
The fellow who lives here. His name's on the door. I was coming to visit him.
It won't work, kid. There is no Bob. And if his name is on the door, you put it there when you rented this place. The landlady's already identified you.
Okay, so I rent my own place. I'm over 21. You got no right breaking into a place like this.
Would you like to see the search warrant?
No. What do you want?
We thought you'd tell us the details on Mary Bain's murder.
That's ridiculous.
I've taken the liberty of going through your, whatever you want to call this pad. Your tastes are questionable, my friend, in paintings, photographs, literature. I've also taken the liberty of going through and opening up some of your suitcases. What about these, boy?
I don't know. I never saw him before.
How about this? It seems a little, small for your foot.
None of those things are mine.
There was something else. Oh, yes, I remember. It's over at the lab, along with part of your floor over there. It was a knife, wasn't it, Bill? A long, thin knife.
She was very pretty. When she got home, she had a fight with her husband. So she came back to this place we were at. We came up here. She'd been drinking. She was a wild girl. Really wild. Like a strange girl, like something was following her all the time. We got here, and she wanted to go. Well, I told her she could go if she gave me a kiss. It wasn't too much to ask for my time. A kiss. She danced for me. And then she slapped me. She thought it was funny. So I killed her. The knife. Is that too much to ask for? One kiss?
There was no question of his guilt even without the confession. Mary Bain's husband identified Wayne Linden as the man they had fought about, the man she had flirted with in the tavern. The case was broken quickly. A judge sane by law, Wayne Linden was convicted of second-degree murder, sentenced to 23 years without hope of parole. So ended a sordid story, written on deadline.